When you think about sports, you usually think about big plays and maybe even your favorite players. What you probably don't think about is the uniform color. So before we get started, I have to set a disclaimer that none of the clips used in this video are mine. I'm too broke, I'm too poor, I don't want to get sued, can't afford it. Anyways, my name is Kevin. Today we're going to be talking about color psychology in sports. Before modern sports became big, the uniforms were stale and had no colors. Most were brown and tan and did nothing to catch the viewer's attention. It wasn't until 1946, after World War II, that the NBA revolutionized uniforms with synthetic fabrics with bright colors. Other sports like football, hockey, and baseball did not follow this trend until the late 60s and 70s, which paved the way for modern-day uniforms. The bright colors not only catch the attention of viewers, but they also excite the athletes wearing them. But will wearing specific colors impact the athletes and fans psychologically? A study was conducted in 2005 by sports psychologists Russell Hill and Robert Barton on the 2004 Olympic Games. More specifically, the combat sports like boxing, taekwondo, and wrestling. They found that in matches where one athlete was significantly upper from the other, the uniform color had no effect on their ability to win. This is pretty obvious since any dominant athlete will always dominate until they go against someone bigger and badder. However, they found something quite interesting in their study. In matches where the two opponents were equally matched, the one wearing red won more than 60% of the time compared to their counterparts that wore blue or green. They also found that when they were scored during their matches, the referees and scorers often had a slight bias towards the athlete wearing red, marking them as more aggressive than their counterparts. This is quite interesting, knowing that athletes in close matches and games had an advantage when they wore red, and a disadvantage when they wore colors that weren't as aggressive, like blue or green. Now you might be thinking that that's kind of unfair and that everyone should just wear red if that's really the case. But keep in mind, when matches are extremely close, it's really difficult to tell who's winning in combat sports, especially since there are no specific points for goals like soccer or basketball. Speaking of soccer and basketball, another study was performed by a group of researchers to test the validity of Hill's and Barton's study. They decided to study the 2012 to 2018 seasons of NCAA March Madness basketball. They found that uniform color made no difference in winning basketball games. Even the lower ranked teams wearing red had no clear advantage when playing a higher ranked team wearing white. And the extremely fast pace of the games made viewers unfazed by the colors as well. However, they can only make a conclusion on winning long duration and ball oriented team games in sports like basketball and soccer. They cannot accurately and consistently measure how much the uniform affected the players' aggression levels, especially since soccer and basketball have strict contact rules. Their study cannot be applied to games like football and hockey and combat sports, where the contact is violent and aggressive. So to put everything we just talked about in simple terms, the color of the uniforms might affect the athletes and fans in certain sports, but not all. Low contact sports might see no effect, whereas high contact sports might see some effects. Besides, the best teams or athletes usually win anyways, regardless of what they're wearing. Take the Green Bay Packers for example. They wear colors like green and yellow, which are traditionally non-aggressive colors. And they almost always beat the Minnesota Trash Kings every single year. At the end of the day, if you were ever going to face off with someone with similar skills as you in a fight, maybe wear red. You might have an advantage. But you also might get your teeth knocked in, so what you really need to wear is a mouth guard. Anyway, thanks for watching, take it easy, and stay out of trouble.